Do you still believe that walking every day is enough to keep you strong, agile, and healthy after 60? Walking helps the heart, improves mood, and clears the mind, yes, but it doesn't stop the accelerated loss of muscle mass, doesn't strengthen balance reflexes, and doesn't prevent falls, the silent enemy that causes the most disability and fractures in older adults. Starting at 50, the body begins a process called sarcopenia, losing between 1% and 2% of muscle mass each year, and that loss, when not trained with adequate stimuli, translates into weakness, poor posture, joint pain, short steps, slowness, stability problems, and insecurity when moving. What's most worrying is that walking alone works the cardiovascular system and muscles very superficially. It doesn't activate power fibers, doesn't protect joints, and doesn't strengthen the deep muscles that prevent falls. But here comes the hopeful part. This deterioration is not a normal part of aging. Studies show that, even after 60, 70, and 80 years old, the body can rebuild muscle, gain strength, and recover balance with just 10 to 15 minutes a day of specific exercises that activate glutes, legs, core, and neuromuscular stability. In other words, it's not age that steals mobility, it's the lack of the right stimulus. And you still have time to recover that stimulus. And that's why, in this video you're going to discover 6 therapeutic exercises, gentle, impact-free, and scientifically backed, that awaken your deep muscles, strengthen your joints, and rejuvenate your posture, your balance, and your way of walking. If you want to age with power, and not with fear, stay until the end, because what you're going to learn today can change not only your mobility, but your entire daily life. Exercise 1. Wall push-ups. Wall push-ups are one of the most complete, safe, and transformative exercises for older adults when the goal is to recover posture, functional strength, and respiratory health. With age, drooping shoulders, rounded back, and collapsed chest tend to appear as a result of core and postural muscle weakness, chest stiffness, and lack of tone in the upper back. This hunched posture, known as dorsal hyperkyphosis, not only ages you visually, it reduces lung capacity, alters balance, increases the risk of falls, and accelerates the deterioration of mobility. Wall push-ups act directly on this problem, because they strengthen the chest, shoulders, triceps, and the stabilizing muscles of the spine, especially the serratus anterior, the spinal erectors, and the transversus abdominis, responsible for keeping the torso firm and aligned. Unlike the floor, the wall offers a safe angle that allows muscle activation without overloading the wrists or compromising the neck or lower back area, something essential in people with osteopenia, arthrosis, or initial weakness. Additionally, the body works in a chain. When pushing the wall, the core activates reflexively to prevent the torso from collapsing, and that improves the stability of the body's center, key to walking upright, standing without fatigue, and moving with control. What's interesting is that this type of exercise not only corrects, but reduces the postural pattern, returning to the body a more youthful, safer, and more efficient alignment. But the benefits don't end there. Wall push-ups also improve breathing, circulation, and the biomechanics of daily movement. By opening the chest and strengthening the muscles that support the rib cage, the body recovers its ability to expand the lungs with greater amplitude. This is vital, because with aging the elasticity of lung tissue decreases and respiratory volumes are reduced, something that worsens when posture is collapsed forward. When this area is trained correctly, the older adult experiences something powerful, breathes deeper, oxygenates tissues better, walks with more energy, and tires less. Furthermore, wall push-ups develop a fundamental pushing pattern for independence, pushing a door, getting up from a chair, stabilizing oneself when losing balance, or carrying objects require precisely that muscle chain. As if that weren't enough, performing this exercise with conscious breathing, inhaling when approaching the wall and exhaling when pushing, activates the diaphragm, reduces tension in the neck, improves the function of the parasympathetic nervous system, and helps reduce stress. That is, it's a single movement that corrects posture, strengthens the body, improves breathing, protects the spine, and restores stability to the older adult, in very little time and without the need for machines, floor, or impact. Practicing them consistently transforms the way of standing, walking, and moving, returning security and dignity to the body, step by step. Exercise 2. Calf activation. Calf activation is one of the most underestimated but most decisive exercises for health, mobility, and independence after 60. The calf, formed mainly by the soleus and gastrocnemius, functions as a true muscular pump that propels blood from the legs back to the heart with each contraction. With age, daily movement decreases, the venous system loses efficiency, and the valves in the legs must work twice as hard to overcome gravity, which favors the appearance of swelling, varicose veins, nighttime cramps, a feeling of heaviness, and poor circulation. When the calf is weak, this system collapses, blood accumulates in the ankles, and venous return becomes slow, affecting not only circulation, but also tissue oxygenation and muscle recovery. That's why many older adults feel that their legs are dead or without strength. Strengthening the calf reactivates this natural pump, improves blood flow, decreases fluid retention, reduces inflammation, and relieves the sensation of chronic fatigue in the legs, something that no medication or light walk achieves on its own. In fact, modern research shows that the soleus, when activated correctly, is capable of increasing metabolic expenditure, better regulating glucose, and improving venous function, being one of the most important muscles for lower body longevity. But the benefits don't stop at circulation. Calf activation is essential to prevent falls, gain stability, and reactivate the complete muscular chain of the legs. Each step, each stair, and each attempt to maintain balance depends on ankle strength and the ability of the calf muscles to react quickly to changes in terrain. With aging, a dangerous phenomenon appears: the loss of strength and elasticity of the Achilles tendon, added to the reduction of type 2 muscle fibers, those responsible for power, generating short steps, foot dragging, and frequent stumbles. When the calf is strong, the ankle becomes more stable, the brain receives better proprioceptive signals, and the body recovers the balance reflex, which is the first barrier against falls, the main cause of fractures and loss of independence in older adults. Additionally, by activating the calf, the entire posterior chain is also ignited: hamstrings, glutes, and spinal erectors, improving posture, gait, and the ability to walk greater distances without pain. It's a small, simple, impact-free exercise, but with enormous effects: better ankles, better circulation, more stability, less swelling, fewer cramps, and a more youthful, fluid, and safe gait. That's why it's called the pump of life, because keeping it strong literally keeps mobility alive. Exercise 3. Marching in place. Marching in place with high knees is one of the most complete, safe, and effective exercises for older adults when seeking to improve the cardiovascular system without impact, recover agility, and train balance at the same time. Unlike walking on the street, where there's a risk of stumbles, irregular surfaces, or distractions that generate fear, this exercise is performed in a controlled environment, which allows the older adult to raise the knee, activate the hip, and move the arms with greater amplitude, unlocking motor patterns that are lost with age. Each knee raise strengthens the psoas, hip flexors, and core stabilizing muscles, essential for taking firm steps and lifting the feet off the ground without dragging them, one of the most common errors in the gait of older adults. At the same time, the continuous and sustained rhythm gently raises the heart rate, improving lung capacity, circulation, and endurance, without generating stress on knees, ankles, or hips, which makes it an ideal tool for people with overweight, arthrosis, osteoporosis, or mobility limitations. Additionally, the coordination between arms and legs stimulates neuroplasticity, strengthening the connections between body and brain, which translates into more agile movements, better reaction time, and a more stable and safe gait. This type of conscious cardio also has an emotional impact. It reduces stress, improves mood, and increases the sense of control over one's own body, key for those who have lost confidence in walking or fear a fall. But its greatest power lies in how it transforms the biomechanics of gait and the stability of balance. Deliberately raising the knees forces the body to reactivate the deep muscles of the abdomen, glutes, and pelvic belt, restoring stability to the area where all human movement originates, the center of the body. When the core is active, the hip aligns better, posture straightens, and the spine receives less load, which reduces lower back pain and improves the natural walking technique. Additionally, marching with high knees trains dynamic balance. The body constantly shifts from one leg to the other, practicing weight control, ankle stability, and proprioception, the sense that tells the brain where the body is in space. This is vital because, with aging, reflexes become slower, the step shortens, and the support base widens in an unconscious attempt to feel safer, but that rigid pattern actually increases the risk of falls. By recovering the natural cycle of gait, this exercise restores fluidity, cadence, and confidence. In just a few weeks, the difference is noticeable. The older adult walks with a firmer, longer, more agile step and with their head held high. With just 2 to 5 minutes a day, marching in place with high knees not only improves the heart, it restores youth to movement. Exercise 4. Squat. The squat is, without exaggeration, the most important functional movement to maintain independence and strength at any age, but especially after 60. It's the pattern we use every time we get up from a chair, the toilet, or the bed, and losing the ability to do it without help marks the beginning of physical dependence. However, with the passing of years, muscular weakness, loss of hip and knee mobility, and fear of pain or falling cause many people to stop practicing this such natural gesture. What few know is that avoiding it accelerates deterioration. When not trained, the muscles of the lower body, especially glutes, quadriceps, and core, lose tone, joints become more rigid, and balance weakens. The squat, by working large muscle groups simultaneously, is the best natural antidote against sarcopenia, as it stimulates fast and slow fibers, improves bone density, activates the hormonal system, and promotes metabolism. Unlike other exercises, it's totally functional. Each repetition teaches the body to move with control, to align the spine, to maintain core stability, and to transfer the strength from the legs to the rest of the body. Performed correctly, the squat becomes a complete training that re-educates movement, protects the knees, reinforces the hip, and recovers security when standing up. But beyond strength, the squat returns something much more valuable: autonomy. Through it, the connection between body and brain is strengthened, improving coordination, proprioception, and dynamic balance, three fundamental pillars to prevent falls, the main cause of fractures and loss of independence in older adults. Studies in aging physiology have demonstrated that integrating squat exercises, even with simple body weight or using a chair as support, significantly improves bone mineral density, walking speed, and reaction capacity when facing stumbles. Additionally, by involving breath control and deep abdominal activation, it also strengthens the core, stabilizes the pelvis, and reduces lumbar pressure, which translates into a more upright posture and safer walking. Practicing it progressively, starting with a chair or with wall support, is completely safe, and its regular execution promotes more efficient blood flow in legs and hips, helping to prevent morning stiffness and joint pain. The key is not in the number of repetitions, but in the quality of movement and in doing it with awareness, firm feet, controlled breathing, and abdominal activation. With just 5 to 10 minutes a day, the squat becomes a powerful tool to maintain strength, mobility, and dignity. Because it's not just about training muscles, but about training the freedom to move without fear, to get up by oneself, and to continue enjoying life with energy and security. Exercise 5. Glute Bridge. The glute bridge is one of the most powerful, safe, and transformative exercises for older adults, because it strengthens the posterior chain, glutes, hamstrings, spinal erectors, and deep core, muscles that act as the true, protective shield of the lumbar spine. With age, sedentary lifestyle, excess sitting time, and progressive weakness generated by sarcopenia create a vicious circle. The glutes turn off, the pelvis destabilizes, the lumbar area begins to compensate, and pain appears as a result. This pattern is so common that today it's known as dead butt syndrome, a condition in which the glutes no longer fulfill their main function, stabilizing the hip, absorbing impact, and protecting the spine when walking, getting up, climbing stairs, or simply standing. The glute bridge reverses exactly that process, because it reactivates the gluteus maximus, the largest and strongest muscle in the human body, and awakens the deep muscles in charge of supporting the pelvis. By raising the hip against gravity, muscle fibers that are rarely activated in daily life are stimulated, improving tone, circulation, and resistance. But its benefit is not only local. By strengthening the posterior chain, the body recovers its natural alignment, decreases pressure on the lumbar discs, improves posture, and reduces hyperlordosis and stiffness that so many older adults feel when waking up or standing for long periods. This exercise, additionally, activates the core without the need for abrupt movements, which makes it one of the most effective and safe tools for those who are afraid of getting hurt, use a back brace, suffer from recurrent lumbar pain, or feel weakness in the lower back. The impact of the glute bridge on daily life is surprising, because it strengthens the muscles that most influence functional independence, walking stability, and fall prevention. When the glutes and deep core work correctly, the hip stops moving unstably, steps become firmer, and the body recovers the ability to generate strength from the center, something essential for any human movement. Additionally, improving posterior chain function also increases proprioception, that is, the brain's ability to detect body position, which speeds up reaction time when facing stumbles and protects the older adult from the main cause of fractures, the fall. From a metabolic and circulatory point of view, the bridge favors venous return, relieves tension in the lower back, and reduces inflammation caused by years of poor posture or muscular weakness. Even breathing improves, because by strengthening the deep core and opening the anterior chain, the diaphragm works with greater freedom, which increases oxygenation and the ability to walk more without fatigue. With just 5 to 10 minutes a day, the glute bridge not only decreases lumbar pain, but restores the body's natural movement, returning firmness to the hip, stability to gait, protection to the spine, and a more youthful energy when getting up, sitting down, walking, and living. That's why, in longevity and modern rehabilitation programs, this exercise is considered a pillar, because it not only strengthens, but also returns independence. Exercise 6. Lateral leg raise. Lateral leg raises are one of the most strategic exercises for older adults because they strengthen a muscle group that almost no one trains, but that defines body stability. The hip abductors, especially the gluteus medius, the muscle responsible for maintaining balance when walking, stabilizing the pelvis, and preventing the knee from collapsing inward. With the years, and especially after 60, this muscle tends to atrophy due to sedentary lifestyle and the natural loss of muscle mass, sarcopenia. When the gluteus medius weakens, a chain reaction occurs, unstable gait appears, pelvic swaying, lateral hip pain, very common in older adults, overload on knees and ankles, and a greater probability of stumbles and falls. In fact, biomechanics studies show that the gluteus medius acts as the body's airbag, stabilizing the leg each time we take a step. This muscle fires in milliseconds to prevent us from losing our center of gravity, but if it's weakened, the brain loses that automatic response and balance decreases dramatically. Lateral raises reactivate that forgotten function, because they isolate the movement, awaken the mind-muscle connection, and strengthen deep stabilizing fibers that are not activated when walking. At a neuromuscular level, this exercise improves proprioception, the body's ability to locate itself in space, and trains lateral control, the most forgotten axis of balance and human movement. Walking moves the body forward and backward, but the greatest number of falls in older adults occurs to the sides. Therefore, strengthening lateral stability is essential to age with mobility and security. Its impact on daily life is enormous, because lateral leg raises not only strengthen the hip, but also restore firmness to gait, improve posture, and re-educate the body to move with control, without insecure swaying or clumsy steps. They also help correct structural problems associated with aging, such as ankle weakness, knee valgus, lumbar overload, and loss of pelvic alignment. At an articular level, this exercise improves hip lubrication and reduces stiffness caused by years of sedentary lifestyle or mild arthrosis, since controlled movement increases synovial fluid production, nourishes cartilage, and reduces pain. Additionally, by strengthening the gluteus medius, the pelvis stops dropping with each step, allowing a more stable and efficient stride. This translates into greater confidence when walking on the street, climbing stairs, or standing up without support. And there's something key: this exercise is low impact, safe, progressive, and suitable for almost any condition, which makes it a therapeutic tool used in physical therapy, hip rehabilitation, and modern fall prevention programs. With just 2 to 3 sets of 10 to 15 repetitions per side, 3 times a week, the older adult can notice visible changes in a few weeks: firmer steps, better balance, pain reduction, and a renewed sense of control over their own body. That's why lateral raises are not just an exercise to strengthen the leg, they are an antidote against fragility, insecurity when walking, and the fear of falling, the fear that most steals freedom after 60. In addition to the individual benefits of each exercise, what's truly powerful occurs when they are combined in a progressive routine. The squats, glute bridges, lateral raises, and the rest of the movements you've seen act together to activate what science calls fundamental movement patterns. That is, the gestures that the human body needs to remain autonomous: pushing, pulling, stabilizing, extending the hip, bearing load, and maintaining balance. Various studies show that, after 50, what most deteriorates quality of life is not age itself, but the accumulated loss of muscle mass, sarcopenia, and neuromuscular strength, which affects balance, posture, endurance, and joint function. These exercises attack the problem from its root. They activate the glutes and core, the engines of longevity, strengthen the stabilizing musculature of the hip, reduce pressure on the spine, re-educate the gait pattern, improve proprioception, and reprogram the body to move with greater efficiency, elasticity, and control. In other words, they don't just build muscles, they restore human movement, returning agility, walking security, and the ability to climb stairs, squat down, get up from the floor, or carry weight without fear or pain. This type of training, when practiced consistently, demonstrates having an impact that goes beyond the physical. It improves brain oxygenation, decreases systemic inflammation, stabilizes glucose, reduces the risk of falls by up to 50%, and activates metabolic pathways associated with longevity, such as AMPK and mTOR in their right measure. What's most interesting is that the body responds at any age, even after 70 or 80, because muscle is an adaptable tissue for life. That's why every repetition counts. You're teaching your nervous system to move better, reinforcing your skeleton from the muscles, and creating an independence insurance for your future. Do it with intention, with patience, and with consistency. Your body doesn't want to age fragile, it just needs the right stimulus to awaken its true potential. In this way, aging doesn't have to mean losing strength, balance, or freedom. You've seen simple, effective, and scientifically backed exercises that can change your body and your life if you practice them with consistency. This is the moment to choose. Keep letting time decide for you, or take control and build a strong, stable body without fear of movement. Don't wait to feel pain, depend on someone else, or limit your life. Start today. Give this video a like, subscribe to the channel, activate the notification bell, and save this content, practice the routine, and join me on this path toward active, independent aging full of energy. Your best version didn't stay in the past, it's right in front of you, and it begins with the first repetition. Your body and your health will thank you. Thank you for watching this video and see you soon.